What is up, MineCraftHub? This is Vince, and 1.9 pre-release 2 is a little laggy for me. Don't know why. And you know, there's like this craze lately, and I see it all the time, and people are like, "Oh, it's laggy. Oh, well, go download Game Booster. I'm on Mac, so don't bother." Uh, I don't really have problems too much though. It's kind of weird. But anyways. Um, this is gonna be, I have a topic for this video, but I want to talk a little bit about, um, just stuff first. First of all, this is hardcore, because I'm a hardcore type of person, not in Call of Duty, but thinking stuff like this, because I think Minecraft is too, um, open for me. Like, just the fact that it's like, it's never over, you know? That is somewhat of a turnoff, actually, for me to the game. So having this whole like completely like you get one try, you know, that's it, and then you're done, and you have to make a new world. I like that because I'm a lot better. I'm not a builder. I'm not someone who dedicates a lot of time to building big projects, which is what I want to say is that if you're expecting me to do stuff like that, if you're expecting me to eventually build something cool, um, you should, you know, not get your hopes up because it's most likely not going to happen. I'm not a builder. So that's why hardcore also kind of captivates me because it's like, you really can't do, you know, all that much with one life. You'll eventually fall, forget to hold shift, or get tired of holding shift or something and fall to your death, or get gangbanged by monsters or something like that. But the other thing I want to say is that I've been trying to like figure out what I want to put on my personal channel because I do have snow biome. I do have a personal channel, obviously. It's linked in the description, and I haven't been posting up there because I don't really know what to post. So I kind of decided this for myself that for my personal channel, I was going to basically, if I couldn't contain a video within something that can be rounded down to 15 minutes, um, so like one of these videos, if it's like 17, I'll just say whatever. But if it's more than 17, then I don't consider it acceptable for the hub. So if it's longer than that, then I'm going to re-record the audio for my channel, and I'm going to put it up with not Minecraft behind it, but with random gameplay behind it. So I don't even know what I'll put behind it yet. It'll most likely just be like me playing some random game at some random point in the day and deciding to record and then using those matches. So, I mean, you might get like one match of Call of Duty and then like one match of Marvel vs. Capcom and then like 2 fights in Street Fighter against the same guy. Like just random stuff. I don't really have plans, but that's the game plan so far. And ironically enough, this first video that I want to say for those of you on the hub actually keeps running too long. So it's like, oh, well, I can't actually go and put this on my channel because I need to tell them that I'm going to do that first. So, anyways, this video does have a topic, and I'm going to get into that right now. I'll probably stop to point out various things about this pre-release 2. And if you're wondering, my texture pack is called Tronic. I really like it. Except that spiders are white. Spiders are spite. Spiders are white, and I don't understand why, because they didn't used to be. That's something with this 1.9 pre-release 2 that all of a sudden now spiders are white. And I don't know if that... I've seen it in other texture packs as well, so did they just make the spiders white, or did they rename the file, the spider file, something else, so that doesn't work correctly? Anyways... So my topic for this video is the notion of self, and I'm just going to kind of go right into it instead of trying to define all my terms and doing what I normally do, because about 5 takes of this commentary have proven to me that that takes a long time to do. So, I just ate some. I have some burps that need to get out before I explode. The notion of self, I guess, is basically, for me, and this may not be true for everyone, but to me is the acceptance that everything you do is done for the intent of benefiting yourself in some way. And if you think about it, I mean, it doesn't have to be intentional. It doesn't even have to be conscious. But on some subconscious level, every action that you take, everything that you do, is done for yourself, with some intent of benefiting yourself. And it's because you are the center of your own universe. You can't put yourself in someone else's shoes and see how they think and feel. You're doing things for yourself because you simply can't do something for someone else without. You can't put yourself in their shoes and say, oh, well, look at I just did this completely for someone else. Because you are yourself, you're doing things for yourself, you are acting on your own will. Yeah, at the very least. And wow, they really did add a lot of clay. Maybe I'll make a brick house soon and make it mighty and let it all hang out. But, oh, am I drowning? I'm drowning. Okay, so notion of self, you do everything with the intent of, that at least with the acceptance that you are benefiting yourself in some way. And while this does apply to actions, as my example has shown, as I used for it in my example, it's more for me about interpersonal relationships, friends, family, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, significant others, as they like to say, domestic partners, as they also like to say. It does apply to all this as well, and specifically, I think with friendships, it applies a lot, because when you have a friend who you don't necessarily like, a lot of people are willing to remain friends with that person. When you have a boyfriend or girlfriend that you don't like, one of you will eventually step up within a fairly short amount of time, typically, and be like, yo, we need to take a break, or it's over, just flat out say it. And so it applies less to relationships, romantic relationships, as it does to simply friendships. So if you hear me say relationships a lot, I'm talking about both. And it gets kind of confusing because I do use them synonymously, which is bad. But I do it anyway, and you can't stop me. So, like I already said, a lot of people I know, they'll be like, oh yeah, my friend, I'm mad at my friend, I don't trust him, he's a douchebag, he's mean to me. And my first question to those people are always simply, why do you call this person a friend? You clearly don't even like being around them. You can all you do is complain about how much you actually dislike this person. Why do you give them the honor of being called a friend? And the answer is typically because people, like I said, are taught to be selfless rather than self-centered. And so their goal is to not make other people sad. They're afraid to make people sad because the conditioning from society says that our goal is to make other people happy, which corresponds with utilitarian belief, but because I am a utilitarian, or at least in my own eyes I'm a utilitarian, but there are points where you need to realize if everybody in the world's intent is to make everybody else happy and not any concern for themselves, then can that goal be achieved? So if my joy simply comes from the joy of others, and others' joy simply comes from the joy of others, then nobody's ever going to be happy because nobody else will ever be happy because nobody else will ever be happy. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. And it just endlessly loops, so I'm just gonna say etc. at the end, etc. Yeah, like some people say Excalibur, or whatever, what's his Stanley. It's like Ben Stein, Al Benjamin Franklin. Stan Lee always says Excelsior. That's it. I say whatever I said. So you can't, etc. That's what I said. I was trying to remember. So if your intent is simply to make others happy, and everybody else's intent is to make others happy, then no one will ever be happy because no one else will ever be happy. So one person eventually needs to take a stand and say, yes, I am happy. And then once you do that, you can establish relationships from there. But I'm going to take that to a more extreme step further and say that you shouldn't ever be concerned with the people in your life. Make their happiness more important than your own. Because even if you're in that relationship where you're like, oh, I don't want to make people, I don't want to hurt his feelings, I don't want to make him sad, Oh, what did I get? I got something that's not in this texture pack. What is it? I wonder what it is. It's that. Just gonna take it out of my inventory because I don't like looking at it. That's weird. Huh. So, if you're simply trying to make other people happy, it won't work. Someone needs to eventually man up and say, yes, I am happy on my own, and you are part of the reason for my being happy. And then it will work if you have one person who now is making other people happy with their own happiness. But I will take it a step further and say that it is worthwhile to always validate your relationships. Don't be asking them, do I make them happy? Ask yourself, do they make me happy? Because those are the type of relationships that are going to last, are going to be more secure, and furthermore, they become not dependent on that other person. They are now dependent on both parties as individuals coexisting with each other, rather than as this unit, as people like to make them. So what do I mean by that? I mean that a lot of issues with the world come from these interpersonal relationships gone wrong. Someone made me unhappy. They took away my happiness because I defined it by them and they were unhappy. So if they're unhappy, I can't possibly be happy because my happiness is dependent upon them. And then there comes a lot of spite, there's a lot of confusion and misunderstanding. There's, why do I not make them happy? I used to make them happy. Why do I no longer do this? There are all these issues that come along with this, and it's simply because you're not defining your own happiness. You are allowing yourself to be used by someone else rather than having someone else be used by you. So I would suggest, in my life experience, and I try to live by this the best that I can, that you always ask yourself, what use does this person have to me? And this can be something simple. This can be, they simply make me happy. Their company makes me happy. They, just their presence. You know, I get along spectacularly with them, and I assume happiness comes with that. But every relationship that you have with someone, whether they be romantic, whether they be just mutual friends, platonic friends, anything, you should be able to ask yourself, what purpose does this person serve in my life at this point in time? And be able to come up with an answer that is acceptable. What I mean by acceptable is that it benefits you in some way. And if you can't do that, if you're saying, well, this person just makes me angry, I see I don't benefit at all, it's making my life worse to be friends with this person, then you should strongly consider letting them know that. And the alternative to this, because a lot of people, you know, like I said, they're scared. I don't want to upset people. Sorry, I accidentally hit keyboard brightness down. That's what I accidentally hit. And they're scared to ask that, and the result of this is that eventually someone will snap. Someone will take it to the point where they lash out in rage at someone because they are inadequately filling this role to be a good friend or to be a good, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you'd like to call them, even if it's not, even if it's an acquaintance, you know, just failing to meet what your expectations are of them. And so the result is lashing out. There are a lot of negative emotions. There are anger, spite, jealousy, possibly envy, all that stuff that usually can result in a somewhat violent retaliation. There will be issues. There will be drama. There will be something of that nature. But by asking yourself, by defining the relationship by how you use another person, and I'm going to say it that way because that's exactly how it is. You're using people. This is manipulating others for your own benefit. But by doing this, when you realize that someone is no longer fulfilling their role in your life, you can simply say exactly that. You can say, you know, I don't want to be friends with you because I don't see a point in our friendship. You're not doing what I want you to be doing. And at that point in time, they can either say, well, I could be, you know, if you'd like me to, I can change. Or they can simply say, that's cool, you know, I understand that even though you're still meeting my needs, you're still making me happy, or you're still someone who I trust and who I can talk to my problems about. I understand that I'm not filling my role in your life, and thus we shouldn't be friends. There is no hate, there is no anger or jealousy or any of those other things I said earlier. It's mutually understood that you both serve a purpose in each other's life rather than just a role. And so that's my whole notion of self, and how you shouldn't be selfish. You shouldn't be saying, and I think I associate selfishness, selfishness with materialistic things. Like, oh, I'm friends with him because he's rich. You know, he can buy things for me. I typically associate selfishness with some materialistic gain. But being self-centered and self-aware is much different, and just saying that, acknowledging that you are doing things with yourself. You are the center of your own universe, and yourself should come before others. And there are different ways to get around this, and I apologize for the phone ringing. But there are ways to get around this by saying, I'm not doing something to make you happy, and I say this a lot. I'm not doing this to make you happy. I'm doing this because when you're happy, it makes me happy. So if you see, I turn someone else's happiness and tie it to my own happiness, which is what I said to avoid doing earlier, but it's just one of my character flaws. But point being that you should always do things in respect to yourself rather than in respect to other people. When you designate work into that, your self-centered gain from a job is money, and so you should be willing to please your boss because that is how you continue to make money, and it should be the goal of a job, unless your goal for a job is to have fun, in which case then it changes a bit. But my name is Vince, and this is my second video philosophizing on the Minecraft Hub. Hope you all are enjoying, and don't expect me to post anything on my channel anytime soon. Okay then, peace out.